So Croatia is more and more often suggested as a role model for the region of the Western Balkans. Do you think that the country is ready to take up such, I think it's a huge burden, such a responsibility?
The country is ready to form partnerships with the other countries in the region on this topic, on the topic of transferring the experience of accession, which is a little bit different in this part of the world, and especially for the countries that are now countries with a European perspective, because for us it's also a state-building exercise. And in that sense, our experience is certainly we are not the most advanced country of the European Union, but precisely because of that, it's an experience that's probably the most usable for the countries of the region, both because we are first post-conflict country after the founding members entering the European Union, and also a country that actually built the institutions of the state in the process. We don't intend or assume that we will here now be some kind of teachers or go around and tell people how to do things, but we first understand that it's absolutely in our own interest that our neighbors go through the reforms as soon as possible, because it makes life easier and more stable for everybody. Secondly, we are prepared to share the documents, the experience from the people who participated in the process, which lasted over 10 years in our case.
Do you have any particular partners in mind, countries from the region?
Well, we are most probably next Tuesday signing bilateral agreement with Montenegro on Euro-Atlantic partnership. We have in the pipeline similar but tailor-made for Bosnia-Herzegovina agreement, also Euro-Atlantic partnership. We are prepared to go in this direction with Serbia and with Kosovo in the future. So we have already given our translations of the acquis communautaire into Croatian, because the difference between Croatian, Serbian, Montenegrin and Bosnian is like the difference between English and American, so they can understand and use all of our action plans, legislation, and all of these things, but also the translations of acquis communautaire, and we've already given them that.
You've mentioned Serbia, but now it seems that there's a little bit awkward situation with the latest comments of the new president of Serbia. How do you see the relationship with that country?
The new president-elect made a few comments that are completely unacceptable for Croatia or for any country for that matter, if you had territorial aspirations. We see this as maybe a result of the over-enthusiasm of the election campaign. I think that the fact that he was elected came to some extent as a surprise to President-elect Nikolic himself. We think that it is, for Croatia, obviously important to see the new government of Serbia, but that for both Serbs and Croats on both sides of the border, we will always stay neighbors. It's for our societies, it's important that we as governments and as leaders of our respective countries can work together, because this makes life easier for the people. So we are prepared for that. We are expecting President-elect Nikolic to make it a little bit easier for us.
Who's going to represent Croatia at the inauguration ceremony in Belgrade?
Our ambassador.
Your ambassador. Do you see a risk? You say that you're prepared, but still, do you see a risk that the relationship might not turn out as we all wish?
There is always that risk. In this region, there is the risk every day of that with every country that you have. But if there's something that we have experience in, this is something that we have an experience in. So we are not rushing. We are prepared to let them settle down. We have decided in advance for the first time to break the vicious circle of always getting involved in each other election campaigns and reacting to some of the outrageous things that are being said in the campaigns, precisely because we think that it's time to say, yeah, the buck stops here. We are not going to worsen our relations because there is an election campaign. So I think we have very good chances to be successful, but whether there is a danger, of course there is a danger. It shows how still fragile this part of Europe is. So.
You said in your panel that it's up to us, that it's finally time that we take our destinies in our hands. Given all this situation and the experience of Bulgaria as well, we have quite a lot of failures, some successes, but in general it's been hard. Do you think that we're capable, the region, to take hold of ourselves and to do without the external help that now everyone is preoccupied with, the Eurozone crisis, the US also, so it's really up to us?
The fact is that there will not be any external help in terms of somebody else making decisions for us, somebody else leading us. The external help is the fact that there is this European framework. This is great help. This is almost as a reminder for institution building, for stabilizing our institutions. So there is the common market. This is a great external help. But in terms of somebody else making political decisions, leading us, the famous international community owes us to do something or will do this simply will not happen. So our success as countries and as a region depend on our own capacity to take the responsibility for ourselves. And I think that there is an alliance, not formal, but sort of through working together, through having met at different occasions, there is an alliance of politicians throughout the region who understand responsibility, who understand self-reliance, who understand that nobody can help you if you first cannot help yourself, and who are prepared to support each other within the region. And I think this is a nucleus of potential treasure that we have here, and also a potential base for actually starting to behave as grown-up countries.
Thank you so much for your time.